In a broken wasteland, come to my fire and place your blood and steel upon my pyre. Oh.
What's going on, metalheads? Thank you all for tuning into this week's episode of the Metal Forge. This is a little bit of a weird one this week because this is video with Jason and I, but Jacob from Freeways, his video was not usable, so it's just going to be a big logoed screen for him. I think I'm just going to put a picture on phone, you know. But yeah, Jason Gardner, how the fuck are you?
I'm good, man. I was thinking you could probably do like a impromptu puppet show or something to make it a little more interesting if you wanted to.
Dude, I am not that good. If I had somebody who could like do the stop motion animation for the He-Man Hordak battle that's going on my desk, that would be amazing.
Right.
Like, have you seen those videos? They are insane.
Right.
Where they pose each frame and they put in the motion blur of everything, of like doing kicks and punches and sword swings. It is so wild.
Yeah.
And then they digitally right. And then they did like digitally edit out like all of the posts and shit that are holding the figures up.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks so fucking good. Like, if I could do that stuff, or if I knew how to do that stuff, like click, move, click, move, click. No, it's just I don't have that patience, I don't think.
Right. Well, when I said a puppet show, I meant like go down to the library and just steal some of the kids' puppets that they have or something like that. Something really
cool. See, I like where you're going with this, but the thing about it is like up at Dirt Boys, they have some like old school like Muppets where they've got like the wire arms and shit, and you've got them.
Yeah.
And like I would love to buy both of them because they look like just like the weirdest fucking sock puppet fucking things out there, and they're so fucking cool.
Well, they were at the time.
Well, dude, they still kind of are. I still like the Muppets.
Yeah, I don't hate the Muppets at all. I'm just saying, like, at the time they were probably like pretty radical looking from all the other stuff, because they were like
the
kind of
Muppet Haunted Mansion was a good film.
They were like sophisticated but still like primitive at the same time. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. There's always this clip that I go back to, and it's Jim Henson on Arsenio Hall, and that's dating the Metal Forge hosts here. You know who Arsenio Hall is? That's not from what's the movie with Eddie Murphy?
Coming to America.
Yes. You know him from his own talk show even.
Yeah, he had Jason Voorhees on for a guest one time. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Totally cool stuff. So Freeways, Canadian kind of folk, new wave of traditional folk metal meets prog meets. I don't know what to say. Like, they are interesting to say the least, because there's prog, you would think like even some like country and western sounding stuff is in there.
Country and western, huh?
Country and western.
Yeah.
Both. We play both types of music here, sir. Country and western.
That's right.
So yeah, like totally cool shit. I've been on their radar, or they've been on my radar for a while now, and I'm glad we finally were able to sit down and do this interview, because it's cool, because you talk about how they've been a band for so long, and just here recently have kind of just had this big explosion.
I mean, that's the way it goes for a lot of bands, dude. I mean, you know, there's bands that go around for like 20 years playing regional shows in one day. The right person just sees them, they blow up. So
Right.
it's not uncommon.
But yeah, I mean, so I'm totally cool. What do you have this week, Jason?
So it looks like the end of legacy bands is coming faster than we thought. So like recording this, Aerosmith just retired from touring. Good for them with not trying to Vince Neil it out there and just trying to sing and sound like shit. So yeah, that's one more down. And then AC/DC doesn't look far from being done from the videos I've seen. That'd be another one. Iron Maiden obviously is omitting songs that Nico can't play since his stroke. So sure. I figure they probably got like 2 or maybe 3 more tours, 1 more album before they're done. And then there's always that. Then there's always like just like a shocking death that would end a band too. Like if someone Metallica died, I'm sure that would be it, or Iron Maiden, for that matter.
Well, I think
all these guys are getting up there.
I don't know if Rob died. Not cursing the bass player spot, but I think if Rob died, it would be. I think they would just still replace Rob.
I don't know. Hard to say, man. Like he's been in there like 20 years now, so
sure.
Yeah.
Which I mean, which is wild to think that he is now the longest tenured bass player in Metallica.
Yeah.
And what? 4th time's the charm.
4th time, yeah.
5th time if you.
Well, we don't really count. We don't really count Ron McGovney because he lives in the next county over, and that dude is just starving for attention. He comments on everything he can Metallica related or not. He'll sign your Iron Maiden vinyl for a fee. I mean, the dude's just strange. I'll just say that.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to me. Like,
so let's not count him. Let's just start with Cliff.
I know it's from his collection.
Yeah.
But how many original presses of fucking Number of the Beast did he have?
Right. Exactly.
I mean, did he take theirs when he left the band, kind of shit?
Right.
Because that's a thing too.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he didn't record Kill 'Em All, so he doesn't. He really has no. If you just count from the recording lineups, then yeah, he was. He was.
No, I'm talking about like when he left the band for anything else. Like when he left the band, did he take their fucking vinyl and shit?
Oh, I see. Like, did he take like someone like Lars's fucking Iron Number of the Beast? Or something?
Did he take Lars's Iron Maiden?
I don't know about that.
Or if he, well, no, he probably didn't because he would have put that on the fucking label.
Yeah.
Lars's stolen Iron Maiden album from 1981 when I was in Metallica.
Right.
And give me $5,000 for this or whatever.
Yeah,
and most of them are on eBay auction.
The way he talks about like his Metallica days, it's almost like stolen valor kind of thing, It's like, dude, you weren't really there when it really fucking mattered much. Like it matters, but it wasn't. It wasn't like when they were on the Raven tour, stuff like that.
Sure, he was there when it was still James on vocals,
right?
And just James on vocals,
sure.
And he was playing guitar, and Ron was on bass, and then. Yeah, and then they got Cliff.
Right. But getting back to what I was saying, some more bands too. Priest probably doesn't have too much longer because I think Halford's talked about quitting after album 20 on an even number. Scorpions, who the fuck knows? They might go on forever. I don't know, but they gotta be close to being done too. I
mean, because they predate a lot of bands.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is like. I don't know, almost like...
I think we'll see Metallica at 50.
The sooner some of these bands get out of the way, the sooner like the starvation for headlining bands will come and give like bands that deserve a shot their shot,
Sure. Well, and I think it's on the point where it's going to change and what the change is going to be. And as much as I hate to say it, it is bands and performers like Taylor Swift who... Yeah,
there's gonna be headline Vakken pretty soon because they're gonna be desperate for a headliner.
No, I don't think that's the thing. But I do think you're gonna see a lot more festival performances, and it's gonna be like an insane deal. And yeah, I think it's only a matter of time before she's on the Wimmer shows. I mean, when you've got somebody that's like a mainstream megastar.
I mean, all the Wimmer shows are mainstream metal bands, pretty much. So it wouldn't surprise me. I don't go to those shows anyway because I don't really care about being out in the field for 4 days with limited fucking hygiene, limited hygiene options and overpriced food and drink. So yeah.
Yeah, everything's a minimum of $20. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
And
Cash,
you can't.
it's all cashless.
Cards.
All
It's
cashless too.
Cashless. It's all a digital society, and we're all gonna.
Yep. So yeah, besides those festivals, I mean, like I said, I don't really care. I'm past my festival going days anyway, but yeah, I was just
No, you're not, because there's always Steel and Stone Fest.
Not this year. It's officially postponed.
Oh,
notice. Yeah, dude.
The website's still available, so.
Well, I'm having a hard time with the new venue rules, and now they've got rid of the green room to load in. So it's like, so if I have 5 bands and it's raining, what the fuck is that going to look like? It's going to be a fucking. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't know if I'm going to continue it somewhere else or just let it rest with like probably the best lineup it had last year on the poster anyway. But Children of Reptile will be playing in its place this year with us and Mortal Man. So I might have one more band to add. It depends. So Alex from Oblivion Throne recruited Jacob from All Hell to play keyboards in a band called Comedic Death. So I'm thinking about asking them if they want to jump on since they're local. So that could be pretty cool. Like a mountains meet ocean kind of a show because Children of Reptile and Mortal Man are both from Wilmington, which is on the coast, and hopefully they're okay from that hurricane. I texted Ozzy a couple days ago, and he hadn't run me back.
Holy shit!
He's been posting, so I'm assuming he's fine. So yeah, it's kind of like a mountains meets ocean kind of show, which is pretty cool.
Hell yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah. But I mean, as always, there is going to be the link to it when it is appearing, and obviously coming up here soon in just about 2 months' time is a big goddamn metal show with Sanhedrin Ulm.
It's not the big goddamn metal show. It's another
big goddamn metal show.
That's right.
And
R.I.P. big goddamn metal show.
I'm working on some stuff right now. Some pretty cool, interesting stuff for the bands that are playing, and some other stuff. So. Nice. Hell yeah, we'll talk about that when it comes a little bit more to fruition time.
Well, man, who do you think, real quick before we jump off here and go to the episode, who do you think is the next Legacy band to be done? Like, whatever, any circumstance whatsoever. Who do you think is next?
I think it'll probably be somebody like AC/DC because Ozzy's done.
I think AC/DC is the one, mine too, that's going to be like next. Yeah, but see, the thing about Ozzy is if he does Black Sabbath, he'll get a big crowd, but I don't think a final show is going to fill a stadium like AC/DC's playing or Metallica or Maiden. I just don't. I don't think it's there. He's there anymore.
No.
Yeah. So it would probably be in like a 20,000 seat Civic Center or something equivalent.
Honestly, I think out of legacy bands, I do think something interesting about it is I think that there might be another Merciful Fate tour, but I would be surprised if King Diamond does anything else after this tour.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, but yeah, like I said, I mean, when I say like the legacy bands, I don't mean like underground legacy either. I'm talking about mainstream legacy.
Oh, well, I mean,
and I'm not discounting underground legacy whatsoever. I'm just saying like the bands that like fill stadiums and like get headlines.
Sure.
For anything they fucking do. If Angus Young sneezes, there's a fucking
wish
headline.
Guns N' Roses would be one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I keep forgetting about them because like it just seems like that's like a fever dream. Like they're out there, but I just don't care about the GNR yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I haven't for a long time. Yeah, the novelty at the beginning when it was just like a few shows.
Yeah.
And then they did the Wimmer shows, and then they did a tour, and then they did the Wimmer shows, and then they did a tour, and a tour, and a tour, and it's like, damn, guys, come on.
Is that what was it? It wasn't the Not in This Lifetime tour. It's like, Jesus Christ, how many lives am I fucking living here? It seems like that tour was fucking decades ago at this point.
Fucking 9 lives.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah, they played like fucking 3.5, 4 hours a night. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, I cannot make it through it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No. I think
Axl sounded better than Vince Neil for sure, but it's not much better. I mean, he's
right. I know that they were like when they played the Louder Than Life the last time, I know that they were like an hour and a half late though.
Yeah.
So it's just like, what in the fuck?
Yeah.
But then they played like a 5-hour set.
Yeah. So 6.5 hours total for their allotted time. That sounds like a blast. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Really.
And I don't care who you are, even if you're the Stones, you know, don't fucking play a 4-hour show.
Yeah, it's uncalled for, man. Like, everyone gets tired. As you go on, it loses potency. Like I said, when we played the AVL Fest, I talked about last week, we had an hour set. Dude, I felt like we were just wasting time after about song 6, to be honest.
Sure.
Like, it was weird. Like, I'm not used to that, but like, you can tell the crowd was like there, but there was a little less movement. You know, it was like, okay, your time is done. And at the mercy of a mistake, Chad just ended us early by just fucking up. So we just ran with it, and it was good. But yeah, like an hour even for some bands is just like too much. Like,
sure, no, I totally get that.
The thing is, you can't lose potency. You know, like you gotta stay going. Like that's why, like, you know, when you go to shows, like it's usually the first 3 or 4 songs, everyone's pretty energetic. There's that big lull in the middle usually, and then the last song. I don't know if it's because the song is really good or like everyone's glad to be leaving soon, but usually it picks up again when it's announced that the last song is close. Whenever it's like we have a couple more for you, or it's our last one of the night or whatever, people get amped up again because they know they get to go home. So yeah, like I said, I mean every band has their weak spot in the set. I've never seen a band that's like, I
agree.
Yeah, I've never seen a band that plays like over an hour. That's like it's like, man, that King Nothing rendition was just what I needed for song number 14. You know, stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's another one too. It's like, you know, they play 2 hours now, maybe an hour and 50 minutes.
Yeah.
That was down from 2.5 hours.
Well, it used to be 18 songs including the encore. Now I see it down to like 16 or even 15 sometimes if they play longer songs.
Right. So, but there's so much other shit that goes on too with the fucking effects and the light show.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
The shit when they put one in the set has like 4 minutes of fucking bomb blasting at the fucking beginning of it and gunfire. Fucking, we'll see them at 50 unless something catastrophic happens and one of them gets something where they can't tour anymore.
Dude, I mean, like I said, everyone's got a ticking time bomb in them called heart. I mean, you just never fucking know, man. It just goes.
Sure. And you know, and advocate time here, you know, apologist time, but you know, James has totally lived a hard ass fucking life with all how many injuries he's had.
Yeah.
Fire, broken ankles, broken arms, fucking traction because he fucking almost broke his neck.
Right. Yeah, but I don't know, man. Like I said, I hate to see some of them go, but you know, eventually there's got to be more room made at the top for bands that are coming up. And I know we sound like a Night Demon fan girls over here, but dude, on their projection, man, in 10 years I could see them co-headlining some pretty big festivals.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not like Keep It True and stuff like that, but like getting on like, you know, besides festivals like co-headlining like a main stage on like Hellfest or a secondary main stage.
Yeah, Bloodstock.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, like I said, but as long as those bands are still out there sucking up oxygen, it's just hard to move up when there's no room to move up, you know.
You know, Savage Master was on Bloodstock in 2020, and that was the year that it got canceled. And they were playing on the day with Priest that year.
Right.
And it was, I believe it was the same stage that Priest was on, but earlier in the day.
Sure.
And it was like, damn. It's like such a rad fucking thing. And then like,
yeah.
Then they couldn't reschedule it for the next year.
I still regret not just announcing a false European tour that year. Everything got canceled. Because who was gonna say prove you wrong if everything got canceled? You know.
Sure.
It's like talk about like stolen valor and shit. You know. It's like, but European tours seem to get attention, man. Like they get bands' attention, dude. I don't know what it is, but like when you say you tour in the U.S., it's like cool. You say you tour in Europe, it's like holy fuck, there's a difference. You know. People look you up and shit. You know. So yeah, I mean. I don't know. I mean, there's like one dude, I can't remember it now. There was a story, some dude like booking false shows and stuff, and he got all kinds of attention and stuff. But the only problem is he booked them when there wasn't any COVID restrictions. So like the shows weren't happening. Where I'm talking about just like put out a stupid post like playing these countries and don't put any venues.
COVID canceled it. Yeah.
Yeah, don't put any venues or nothing. Just cities and countries and yeah. But yeah. So
yeah, you can't do that now. But
no.
One other thing before we go, also, and you brought this up, and I think this is a good point. Is so we're planning for 2027.
Wow.
Two years. No, I'm just saying. I'm spitballing here.
Okay.
This is kind of like a Venn diagram. We're going to put Temptations Wings in Europe by 2027. We're going to book 2 weeks.
Okay.
Would you all do it?
Yeah. If there was plenty of time to plan, like we would totally do it. Yeah.
Hell yeah! See, that's what it's about.
No, I've already told the wife this, that it would be happening whether she liked it or not, because there's only some bands only get one chance, and some of those bands might never get a chance again, even though they had it in their palm of their hand. Horseburner was an example of a band who had a European tour booked and got taken away because of COVID. Howlin' Giant finally made it over there. They had the tour booked around the same time, doing a Ripple Fest in Germany, I think, is what I was basically around.
Speaking of which, soon to be published author coming to the fucking Ale Horn soon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when the book comes out, so it might be a while, but yeah. So,
but still, that's fucking rad.
It's nothing official because there's nothing really. There's no release date yet, so I don't really know when it's gonna happen. But yeah, we'll talk.
It could be fucking 6 months. It could be 6 years. Who knows?
I don't know, but yeah, I just mentioned it. He was like, "Yeah, it sounds cool." So yeah.
But that's so fucking awesome. To be in company with another published author with Jason Gardner here.
Yes, well, I'm self-published. He actually got a company called Contact him, so there's a little bit of difference there, but yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Mine's DIY. His is like, oh yeah, we'll take care of all this for you. So one day I'll look on my Amazon rankings to see where I'm at. The funny thing is, there's always someone that's less than me. So I'm like, well, maybe not so bad. 2 million something in the fantasy genre. That sounds pretty reasonable.
Sure. Who knows, man? Fucking do it. Live it up. Fucking push that shit. Put the links in there. Dude, so let's go ahead. Let's get into some Freeways here. And I don't know if you're too familiar with them or not, but their newest album, Dark Sky Sanctuary, is super fucking awesome, dude. I can hear so much fucking influence in it. Like, I hear like In America from Charlie Daniels. Mm-hmm. I hear fucking The Cult, and I think I talked about this a minute ago.
Which version of The Cult are you thinking? Like She Sells Sanctuary or Bob Rock Cult?
It probably would have been Bob Rock Cult, actually.
Okay.
I mean, now that I think about it.
I mean, it's not bad. I like
it. Would have been on the tour. It would have been on the tour with Metallica on Justice.
Yeah, I like that version of The Cult. There's some good stuff on it.
Yeah, for sure. But then again, I hear so many other like fucking shit like Pink Floyd and whatnot, and it's super fucking rad. But this song really hit me, and it gives me a Thin Lizzy vibe. This is One for the Road.
Tried to resuscitate and revive you. Don't be quick to judge. We always need to budge and revise the lines that he cried through. Some of us act on our own accord. Others get drunk and fight when they're bored. One's not better than the other. Best believe my brother. So hard to try something new. I remember the last thing you said. I'll take one for the road. Some things best one for the road. Some things best left unsaid. I'll take one for the road. Some would have left sooner. I stare at my tuner and whisper the words goodbye. I was passing the blink of an eye. You can see them if you try. Only hope can distinguish all the love we extinguish, and we still must wonder why. As we whisper the words goodbye, we still must wonder why. Whisper the words goodbye.
What's going on, metalheads? Thank you all for tuning in this week. And we have Mr. Jacob Montgomery from Freeways here in the Metal Forge. Dude, what's going on?
Oh, not a whole hell of a lot, buddy. How are you?
I am doing great, and that's one of the cool things that I've noticed is the term of endearment of buddy already. From our messages on Instagram back and forth, you're like, yeah, sure thing, buddy. I'm like, yeah, buddy. And we kind of started talking about this a minute ago before we got rolling, is about the language thing, and that seems to be, you know, like a Canadianism is buddy.
Yeah, I think it's, I don't know. It's, I can't speak for all, of course, but growing up, I think it's just, it's a nice way to do away with any kind of ridiculous formalities and just lets you know that that you're on a level playing field. Although it can also be used in a hostile tone. You can also say, what's your problem, buddy? And then that's about the worst thing you could say. So. Oh,
see, I didn't know that. That's interesting. So if I go to Canada, just don't go, what's your problem, buddy? And then I'm going to get my ass kicked or something?
It's all about tone of voice, pal. All about tone of voice.
Sure. Dude, how is Canada these days? I mean, because, like, I always like to get off on the right foot and ask, you know, how things are going, because if it's anything like the United States, it's a clusterfuck as usual. And so how's Canada?
Well, I'm happy you asked me, because I don't know if you read my previous message to you, but I actually am the spokesperson for all 40 million here. I am the cultural ambassador for all of Canada, actually. So I am absolutely the right person to ask. Now, I'm fucking absolutely joking right now.
I mean, no, dude, I think you would be.
No, sir. How's it going? I mean, I can only speak to how it's going in my immediate vicinity right now, where I am in lovely Brampton, Ontario. And it's going okay. Business as usual, you know. It's I feel like it's not too dissimilar. Especially you're based out of Indiana, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, down by Louisville, Kentucky, actually. I'm right across the river.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not too dissimilar from how we're doing here, except your guys' cost of living is a little bit more realistic. But other than that, yeah.
Hey,
I mean,
actually, it's not realistic, because I had to buy a house just so I could have a place to stay, because staying in an apartment wasn't feasible anymore.
Oh, buddy, you're preaching to the choir. I'm myself and a childhood buddy many moons ago bought a place here in Brampton before it went haywire, and it's nutty here. It's nutty. I mean, this peripheral satellite nothing suburb of Toronto that everybody likes to shit on and call the asshole of Ontario is still averaging $1 million for a fucking house. So it's madness. I feel you.
Wow. See, okay, now that is a little bit unrealistic, but again, when it's the housing market that's like that, is it because of like, are they like sought after houses, like Victorian style houses? You know what I'm saying? Or is it just like fucking like any kind of prefab fucking, you know, every house is the same on the road?
No, they just don't build enough houses here to support the like amount of people we have, and haven't been building houses for about 20 years. So not that I'm an expert on the subject or any authority, but it is like housing is a growing issue here in Canada, particularly in Southern Ontario, and it's just location. You know, we're within an hour's drive from downtown Toronto, and what has traditionally always been a commuter suburb here. Like Brampton has always been where you live, not where you find entertainment or where you work.
Sure.
Like it's literally the like.
Yeah, and you know, we have
Classic
places
example.
like that here as well.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we have places like that here as well, because there's little borough like towns outside of Louisville all around the city. Even like here where I'm at in Indiana, it's got the same kind of deal. You don't go here for entertainment. Yeah, there's like a few things here and there, but not like a crazy amount. I mean, I think the biggest thing that's closest to us for entertainment on this side of the river is the casino. So,
yeah, fair enough. No, it's like a very. I don't want to have this interview have nothing to do with.
No, and that's where I was going to say. I was going to totally segue into. I was totally going to segue into. You know. Thank you for we've got the civics lesson here on the Metal Forge this week, and it's fun, you know, because I'm in my 40s now, and you know, when you're in your 40s, you tend to think of different shit. You know, it's not all about going out to the bar anymore, or any less.
Yeah.
You know, so, but that brings us to why we are here today with you, Jacob, is to talk about Dark Sky Sanctuary, the newest album from Freeways. Holy
right on.
Fucking shit. Where do
in a good way, right? In a good way, right?
No, in an amazing way. It's like Dr. Evil's Where Shall I Begin? You know, I don't know where to start on this, because you guys had been put on my radar a couple of years ago, and for the longest time I was a holdout on Instagram and when I did have the Instagram going, I didn't utilize it like I should. So I didn't know how to reach out to a lot of people per se, and other than just like fucking like email addresses on Metal Archives and whatnot, right? So reaching out to get you guys on the show, it was like, I wish I knew a contact info to get to them. And now that you're here, it's like, before our interview, I respun the album again, and to me, it's right at that perfect length. It's like 35 minutes. I had to do some stuff after work, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to be in the car for a minute driving because of traffic. Let's throw this on, and completely got lost in it again.
Oh, that's fucking awesome, man. That's like the highest compliment we could receive. So thank you very much. We really appreciate the kind words. Thank you.
Definitely. And what is so wild about it is, I don't know, like, I'm a real stickler. I don't get a lot of the differentiation of lines between genres, okay? Ultimately, yes, for like hip hop and country, big style genres, but when it comes to metal, what's trad metal, what's stoner groove, because the sword could be trad metal to me. You know what I'm saying? So
I completely hear what you're saying.
So with Freeways, especially on this newest album, I was blown the fuck away because I heard so many influential pieces in that it was just like, I heard The Cult in there. I heard Pink Floyd in there. I heard ELO in there and the Doobies in there.
Interesting. Interesting. All right.
And honestly, there's a bit of Western feel too, like a bit of like classic country feel, even like outlaw country in certain passages on this musical.
I love
piece.
that.
And honestly, when the album started, the first thing it reminded me of was the song "In America" by Charlie Daniels. Like tonally.
Yeah.
And like the way the riffing was played. So like whenever you all are sitting down, it's like there's I mean I even hear Motorhead in it.
Oh well like I mean not really the best for an audio podcast, but if you look behind me right now, you can see that the only things I have on the walls in my living room are Motorhead posters. So that's yeah. Hell yeah.
And
buddy.
I've got the
No,
Motorhead fucking snaggletooth right up on my fucking shoulder, dude. So yeah, I totally get it. I am a bass player who does vocals in a band, in a 3-piece band. That's all I got to say.
Not an accident, eh?
It's not an accident.
No, I think I think your ears definitely didn't deceive you. Like we kind of have a policy of like whatever we're fired up about musically, that's what we kind of like let into the musical gumbo, if you catch my drift. You know what I mean? Like we don't really concern ourselves too much with what like is it this or is it that? Like obviously within the realistic parameters. Like if one of the boys showed up to practice and was like, "Hey man, I've been listening to new metal a whole hell of a lot. What if we dropped our like tuning down to Z for a song?" We'd be like, "Nah, like it has to obviously fit the mission of the band since our inception." But I, like you were kind of mentioning the differentiation between like genre not being too important. If I'm not putting words in your mouth, that's what I kind of gathered.
Well, it's important, but for me, because I do like so much music, it's a thing of, it's very hard for me to tell unless it is like an extreme clash. Obviously, like black metal has an extreme clash against everything else. But
or like if you're mixing in, like you said, like if you're throwing in like hip hop samples or like shoegaze or some other like very outside deliberate effort to be like absolutely unique for the sake of being unique. Like I get what you're saying, but no, for us, honestly, like as cliched and stupid as it sounds, I like often joke to my buddies, like whenever somebody recommends me a song, the joke I've been making for years to like all my friends is always like, hey, before you send me something, if I'm going to listen to it, ask yourself one question. Does it rock? If the answer is no, I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to listen to it. If the answer is yes, then give her. I'll absolutely give it a shot, you know? And
that's interesting.
Like, we have such a broad base of listening. And again, like broad to us, to others, you know, to the uninitiated, maybe it sounds like very samey. Like for somebody who doesn't know any different, they won't catch the subtleties and differences between April Wine and I don't know, like A to Z. Like, you know what I mean? They won't hear the difference between like a seminal radio hard rock band and like a kind of budget new wave British heavy metal band. But there's definitely like a broad pool. And it's kind of funny you actually mentioned, you're like, oh, a little Western and a little country in there, because myself, more than the rest of the guys in the band, I'm like a big like old Delta blues and
nice.
Old outlaw country and like folk kind of guy. Like that's like my guilty pleasures, you know what I mean? That's
hey,
That's what I'm listening to. Like if I'm out on the weekend, and which I'm usually doing, if I'm doing what I'm usually doing, which is like camping or hiking or, being out in the bush. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Slayer on at midnight. We're not putting Slayer on at midnight when the stars are out and we're out at the edge of the lake, and it's like you can hear the loon calls in the evening as you're cooking dinner. Like it doesn't really fit the vibe. We're putting on Neil Young and John Prine and
Waylon Jennings,
Waylon Jennings and John Lee Hooker, and
hell yeah,
that's what we're putting on. Like,
dude, I totally get that. I mean? I totally respect that. And a while back on an episode, Gabe Franco from Unto Others said to me that I asked what was his guilty pleasure, and he said, "You know what? If you like it, it's not a guilty pleasure because."
Oh, buddy, I got no guilt about any of that.
Hell yeah, absolutely,
zero guilt.
And that's a callback episode because that was like 4 years ago. So,
but yeah, no, it's funny that you said you heard that, because I've been threatening to the guys to make that more of a prominent mainstay in the sound. We're like, you know what I mean? Like, Allman Brothers have a whole lot of guitar harmonies. Like, what if we blended Allman Brothers with
well, yeah,
Angel Witch or whatever? And everybody's like, yeah, I'd have to hear that to believe it. All right,
and
that's
honestly,
a nice idea until it's not.
The crazy parts is I can hear, like, in the callback stuff, I love it to death because it's like, wow, that sounds like this, but it sounds so cool. Like there's an O, like an O part where it's like it reminds me of the Cult, like the vocal melody, but it's completely original. Okay. I dig it. And I fucking can't remember the name of the song. But
must have been good then, eh? Must have been a good
yeah. Well, I mean, I might have been starting to vape at that point too.
I'm just being a shit disturber, buddy.
No. But again, so when you're doing the album and everything, where do you draw the line and say ultimately you're recording for vinyl? We all know that's the primo, the thing that everybody wants to do. They want to put it all back on wax again. So obviously you're recording for vinyl. I do know you have cassette versions as well, which is rad as shit. So when you're picking songs, is it painstaking? Are you dwindling down from a bigger group, or how are you doing your selection?
Speaking specifically about Dark Sky Sanctuary, we didn't write or record any additional material. We wrote that record. That kind of selection process was done in the jam room. We had the benefit of time with the pandemic, and that we had extra time. There wasn't as much of we couldn't tour, we couldn't do the band thing so much, so it gave us a very good opportunity to just put our best foot forward, and any idea got jammed out, and if it sucked, it went by the wayside, and we didn't really finish it, and the idea never got completed. So when we knew we had something, when we fucking hoped we had something good, and we all had kind of this collective agreement that it was like the feeling was there, then we pursued that song to the end, and we felt that the 8 songs that we had was the best foot forward that we could do with our means in that time. So it wasn't at all random, I guess you could say. It was very deliberate.
Sure. No, I mean, as you said, you did the parts, and if the parts didn't cut it, then you threw them by the wayside. Now that begs me to ask, because of being a musician myself, how is the band's archival skills? Do you all keep everything? Do you all keep all the demos of what you do, and and all of those extra throwaway tracks or throwaway riffs to maybe rework later down the road?
Absolutely. Like if we start a new song idea, even if it's incomplete, if it's so much as a single riff. If we all get together in the jam room and, you know, bang out like a verse and a chorus and it doesn't go beyond that, we'll still record it and keep it. And many times, not many, but like, you know, there's been quite a few instances where we have like jammed this song in its entirety, and then we've done it 2-3 weeks, and then somebody in the band is bold enough to throw up their hand and just go like, hey guys, like, I just want to say, like, I think this song isn't good enough, or like, I think that this part sucks, or this is boring or redundant and repetitive. And then we'll just go, okay, and put it on the back burner. And sometimes the bridge or the chorus or whatever usable little chunk of music from that can find its way into a new song, or it sits on the back burner and we don't use it for years and years. I mean, like,
I was going to say
also
that.
have
Do you still go back to the stuff that you had in 2005 and 6 when you played? And because I've been known to do that.
Like we, not like a whole song necessarily, but we have songs like, so we've been a band longer than people think we have, because we were virtually inactive for our first few years. Like, we played our first show 10 years ago this December.
Sure.
It's kind of funny. People kind of mention us and say like new band, and I understand that largely has to do with us being like in the 2020s and currently, and not a band that existed in the 1980s. I understand that that's what that means, but there's still like comments that say like new band, and I'm like, new band? Christ, we've been banging out songs in the basement since like, I don't know, the last possibly like 11.
Well, I mean, True
years?
Bearings is what got on my radar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, we like Cold Front, our first EP, our first 7-inch came out only in I want to say 2017. So, that's quite a while after we started playing. But
3 years.
No, we do have we have like songs that I have like cell phone recordings of from 9 years ago, and every once in a while when we're jamming out songs and we're thinking in context of like a whole album, like right now we have 8 new songs for what will be our 3rd record. We want a 9th. We want one song that's a little bit different to break up the monotony and make sure there isn't too much ear fatigue, but like obviously fitting within context of the album. So like I'll be like, what about this? And I'll pull up this old voice recording on my phone, and like the whole rest of the guys in the band will be like, I don't even have a single recollection of that song. Like, I don't even know we ever did that. And it's possible we only jammed it once and recorded it and said, but no, we have a backlog of those. We have a couple that we think, we have like 3 songs that we think are like pretty decent, pretty decent, but they just don't fit right now. So we keep joking that like, 15 years into being a band, one day we're just going to eventually do this like bluesier hard rock record that's like very ZZ Top and Allman Brothers influenced, and with sprinkles of new wave British heavy metal. But every time we write a new song, it just keeps getting heavier and heavier, and we're like, shit, okay, this and the further we go along, the less and less those songs would
that's
fit,
how it goes. That's how it goes. I mean, Lemmy always said that Motorhead was a rock and roll band, and there he was 30 years later on That Metal Show. So
yeah, I know. That's kind of where we're at.
As much as my disdain
like,
is for Eddie Trunk, but yeah, here you guys are on the Metal Forge. But no, I'm of the mind that if anything, if it's heavy, no matter what, like it could be heavy lyrically and it could be a heavy song, I mean, that's what metal is to me, is the definition, of like, heavy, abrasive, whether it's musically with distorted guitars and whatever, and classical influence and all of that and whatnot, and the lyrical content and the imagery, Woody Guthrie is heavy. Like if you listen to this shit,
for sure,
what he wrote, You know, he's heavy. You know, fucking Hank Williams was fucking heavy. Senior. Fucking, I've always been a proponent of saying that shit. And so here's the other thing, is one lineup member change in 10 years. What's your secret to having a band together that long with mostly original members?
Easy. Friendship. Our band is not and was never created like around trying to accomplish any goal outside of just like making music and having a good time, and you know, putting ourselves out in the world and allowing ourselves to be able to experience incredible things. As corny as that sounds, like, I know of a lot of people who have an idea for a musical project, and obviously they want to find the best musicians around and available. And I've always thought, like, not, and that sounds like misleading, like as though I'm saying that the members of my band I don't feel are the best musicians that I know. They are. And each one of them is, I wouldn't want to play music with anybody else. But the foundation of our band was friendship and not trying to meet some goal. And we've all gotten better together. I fully believe that our band, not that I think we're, you know, fucking cat's pajamas or anything, but I think that we are more of a sum of our part band than we are like individual talent shining through. You know what I mean?
Well, for sure.
No, like,
but like, I will say this: there are a lot of people out there that do think you all are the cat's pajamas, because in a world,
well, that warms my heart,
dude. I'm serious, because in a world where, you know, streaming is such an incredible fucking deal, where, you know, it's a hot button issue in the music industry with Spotify and all of those platforms, right? And then earlier at the beginning of this year, Spotify saying that they're not going to pay anything for if you don't have at least 1,000 plays on your track or whatever. And I say that you all are the cat's pajamas because looking on Spotify with Dark Sky Sanctuary, it is insane numbers. And dude, you all absolutely fucking deserve it.
That's really nice, man. Thank you. That's really, really, really sweet. Like, I don't know if it's luck or what it is, but we're definitely grateful. I will say that. And I don't like to speak on behalf of the other guys in the band, because we're all very different people, very, very strong individual personalities, you know, but I will confidently say that on behalf of all of us, like, we are very, very, very grateful for any and all support we get, and it blows our mind. You know what I mean? Like,
hell yeah, man.
The fact that we're able to play in the States and in Europe, and, you know, I handle all like shipping for our band, so I know very well where all of our merchandise is going, and some of the places this shit goes to, some of the, you know, far-reaching corners of the world that a patch or a shirt goes to, just blows my mind. And it's really nice. It's really at the end of the day, you know, this isn't our career. We're like, you know,
well,
blue-collar guys who work our jobs, and this is our escape from the dull, you know, day-to-day grind, and there's no like financial gain. You wouldn't be doing this, you wouldn't be playing this kind of music if it was about the money. And the fact that people give a shit, it just you know, it means the world to us, because we were going to do it anyways, because what else do we know to do? And if people like it, then that's enough justification for us to keep doing it forever, you know?
Definitely. And yeah, that's what I told Jason from when he does the monologues here on the Metal Forge, and when he does some interviews with me, is I was telling him, it's like, you know, I'm not qualified to do much else, so that's why I'm always here in the Metal Forge doing fucking interviews and shit, because it's like, I'm going to do it regardless, because, I mean, what am I going to, am I going to go watch fucking TV? No, I'm going to fucking talk to people and have fun.
It's boring.
Yeah, TV sucks. You know?
I may as well try and contribute something to this thing that's given me so much, this thing I love dearly, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. And honestly, dude, this year has been an amazing year for albums already, because by the time of recording this, I mean, your Alls came out on April 26th. Tombstoner's album came out on April 26th. There was a new Windrider album. There was the new Orange Goblin album. There was a new Mortal Man EP. You know, and it's just so many good and great albums have come out this year. And yeah, I'm excited to see my list at the end of the year, because it is going to be hard this year to dwindle it down.
For sure, man, for sure.
So,
sorry. I gotta cut in, actually. I gotta wind it back a little bit because I missed an opportunity. Sorry, this is my ADHD brain.
No, go ahead.
Full force, where I'm like, you were talking about earlier, your question about only one lineup change and like how does that work? I want to like highlight how odd of a situation our band is in. Our original drummer, Seb, lives with our current drummer, Matt, and is still very much like a part of our our world. Like, we see him, like, he comes down and hangs out at our jams, and he comes out at all of our shows. Like, yeah, we had one lineup change, but that's not like a bitter, weird lineup change. That was just a particular situation where the band, sure. How would you word it? The demands of a band were not conducive to somebody's lifestyle at that moment, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, no, like
that is amazing for him to realize, though, because sometimes, hey, touring might not be for everybody. Touring might be hard for certain people. With honestly, it takes it's a group effort, and you've got to be able to put up with each other's shit. And be able to protect yourself too.
Oh, totally. And like, that's the thing. Like, sorry to reel it back to a question like 5 minutes ago, but I love that tidbit, and I like very proudly always like to share that, because I'm like, yeah, there's not another band I've met who's fortunate enough to have that kind of relationship with their member. Like, we've always said, we're like, Seb didn't quit the band. He we hung his jersey to the rafters. You know what I mean? Like, he's an alumnus.
Stepped
he's
aside.
an ex-member of the band. You know what I mean? Like, he's as much a part of the band as our current drummer. He just doesn't perform with us currently. You know what I mean?
Right. He could be like, hey, listen to this drum riff. or drum thing.
We're planning a show, and like, it was our current drummer, Matt, who was like, hey, it'd be pretty cool if like Seb came up and played a couple of the old songs that he recorded on with the band. It wasn't even us, it was our current drummer who was like, yeah, I think that would be really nice and really cool. Like, next time we play Toronto, we'll have Seb come up and play a couple tracks. And we're like, absolutely. Like,
dude, that's awesome.
We're a different group. I think we're a different, not even talking sonically. I'm just talking interpersonally. We're an odd bunch.
I have a former drummer that keeps asking.
Well, and here's the thing, right? Like, if there's a respect factor in that. If one current member is like, I don't really feel very comfortable with somebody challenging my place within our band. I'm the drummer, or I'm whatever member of the band. I should be performing. That's valid, and like, I completely understand that. But yeah, we're just not like that. You know what I mean?
Sure. Absolutely.
Anyway, sorry. I completely. No,
dude. That's what this is all about, man. No, that is totally what this is all about. So now it's all about Derailed, and Derailed is 5 questions. It's not really tailor specific to you, but hey, you're getting asked. So, if you could send a message to a large group of people, who would those people be? And what would you say?
They would be humans, and I would say, relax. We're not here that long. Chill out, man. It's not that serious. I would send a message out to all human beings, and I would just say, fucking nothing matters. We're all going to be dead one day. Chill out. That's what I would say.
I just recently heard something from Willie Nelson where he was doing an interview, and he's like, man, my mom used to tell me that it's like every 100 years there's new people. So the 100 years that you're here, they're here. That's your group of people. And then after you're gone, that's all that matters. So
yeah, I'm gonna want to redact that for sure. When I think of something very witty and clever and poetic, as soon as this interview's done, I'm definitely gonna message you and ask you to remove this. But in the event that it doesn't, that's the best I could do on the spot.
Why do we respect the dead more than the living?
Yeah, and I just think in light of how divisive the world is today and how alienating day-to-day life is, I just think everybody needs to take a bit of a chill pill and fucking relax a bit. And I'm guilty of that as much as anybody else. I mean, that's
Sure. Yeah, we all get high-strung. We all get high-strung from events, political events, even not even just that, the crazy shit that we see on a day-to-day basis, the slighting of other people from, the being an onlooker and maybe not even realizing that you do it. Yeah, I totally get you.
Yeah, it sounds so cliche and stupid, and I'm sure a couple people that I know that are listening are rolling their eyes right now, but I mean, like, man, things could go south real quick here. I mean, fuck, I saw 3 car accidents on my way to work and 1 massive one on my way home from work. And like, that's something that nobody plans for. And that could just be, the end of your story. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Does it really matter that you sweat that you didn't, meet that deadline at work, or you didn't save up enough for that one thing, or you missed that one payment? That all doesn't fucking matter, man. Everybody just needs to take a deep breath and look at the big picture. I
agree. And honestly, that big picture is your big picture, ultimately, where you're going to be. What are your top 3 favorite 80s movies?
Oh, that's a great question. I grew up I was a very strange kid. As my parents said, I was an old soul, which is a very nice way of saying I was a weird little fuck. So
yeah, right.
I grew up, and also, mind you, I'm a younger brother. My brother was born in '88, and all my cousins are older, so I inherited a lot of secondhand, culture from them. This is me, by the way, filibustering to try and think of a very good answer to this question, because it's number 1 for sure, The Road Warrior.
Nice. No
contest. Number 1, The Road Warrior. Number 2, favorite 80s movies. Geez, that's tough. Number 3, Big Trouble in Little China, even though a lot of people harp on that for being a little sketchy these days, but I love that one.
Yeah.
Number 2, I don't know.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. A lot of my favorite movies are from the 70s or 90s too. So that's why I'm trying to scan my brain right now. I don't know.
I could honestly say for me would be Empire Strikes Back, Aliens.
Oh, absolutely. Empire Strikes Back. Throw Empire Strikes Back in there.
Yeah.
Done. Thank you very much.
Aliens.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
The sequel to Aliens, and probably Phantasm 2.
That's wild. Maybe, although, my favorite movies are constantly in flux. And last fall, me and my girlfriend just did a weird, which is uncharacteristic of either of us. We did a horror movie binge, and I'm not a horror guy per se. I'm much more, I'm a documentary guy.
Oh, yeah.
I like the hard facts, or really poo brain action. I just want raw entertainment. I want to have all of my, I want to be entertained.
That Stallone.
But that being said, yeah, oh yeah, buddy. Growing up, give me Kurt Russell, Mel Gibson, Oops, and like, yeah, Stallone, any of those like 80s staple action guys. But Tenebrae, fuck, man, that's for a guy who's not into horror or slashers. Tenebrae like rocked my world. I loved it.
No shit.
Tenebrae might be a sleeper pick for a good 80s movie.
Hell yeah.
Actually,
Hell
top
yeah.
3.
Okay, someone asked this question before the last one, and this is what would be your last meal? You had to pick.
Mother.
Yeah, you get to pick the whole day: breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert. What would you have?
Easy, very easy. My last meal, my last dinner would be my mother's homemade breaded chicken cutlets, my mom's homemade risotto, and probably breaded cauliflower. I was fortunate enough to have my mother's Italian, so I have I grew up eating very good, very, very good, and everybody always rolls their eyes at that. But anytime I go out to a restaurant, I'm always like, my mother could cook better than this. So for dinner would definitely be my mom's home cooking, no contest. My lunch would be a chicken shawarma for sure, and my breakfast, I don't care too much about breakfast at all. Pea meal on a bun, pea meal on a Kaiser with a little butter from a hockey arena.
Oh, nice. Fuck.
Growing up having to be dragged out to my AAA brothers, hockey practice and games my entire childhood. I've taste tested every hockey rink cafeteria in Southern Ontario and some in, Michigan and Western New York. And I got to say, you can never miss with a pea meal on a Kaiser.
So are you a Leaf fan?
Die hard. Absolutely. Bleed blue.
Come on.
I'm
man.
really, actually, this is the most important part of the interview. I'm really glad you brought that up. Myself, Matt, our original drummer, Seb, is the most psychotic Leafs fan. Dom, our guitar player, big Leafs fan. Amar, our bass player, not so much a big Leafs guy, but, he tolerates all of our psychotic fandom. Nice.
I'm a Kings fan, so.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, come on now. We've had a couple of decent years here recently, but not before that. Jesus. Ugh.
Oh, don't worry. They're not my. Right. They're not my least favorite.
Who would
it was
be?
It's really hard. It's really hard to have a really good show and really lovely people in a city whose hockey team you hate wholeheartedly. It's like, it's a real moral.
You don't want to say, well, like, but here's the thing.
Like,
depending on where you're at, most people wouldn't give a shit. In America, anyways. Now,
sure.
Like if you're in Detroit and you say "fuck the Wings" or some shit, yeah. You're going to get that shit. Or, if you were in Nashville and playing anywhere near Bridgestone and said something about it, yeah, about the Preds, yeah, you could. So, but like, depending on, I think it's all about where it is in the town or in the city.
I'll very diplomatically and safely say this. There's not a whole lot of places where we have very, very, very exceptional shows that aren't the locations of original 6 teams.
Nice.
I'll leave it at that. Leave it at that.
Hell yeah. Dude, Jacob, I have one more question, but before we get to it, as always, links are listed below, so please give a like, a share, and a follow. Go buy merch. Go see these guys when they go out and are out on the road, hopefully soon. Is there anything else that you would like to promote or any shout-outs you would like to shout out today?
Sure. I mean, I would like to promote our upcoming festival events that are happening next year in Europe. We're going to be playing Dying Victim Attack, our Labels Festival in Germany in April of next year, and we will be playing Keep It True next year. So anybody on this side of the Atlantic who's interested in going, if there's still tickets available, we'd love to see you and come say hello. We'll be planning some dates in between then, so just keep an eye and an ear out for those. Shameless plug.
No, that's
And
what this is.
shout-out
No shame. That's what this is all about.
Yeah. Yeah, and as far as shout-outs, I mean, the list could go on forever, but always shout out, they shouted us out. Number one, some of our oldest friends in all of music, our friend Spell out there in Vancouver. Known those fellas for about a decade. It's predating even our band. We've known them. Shout out to Spell. Shout out to our friends in Cherokee in Germany who were, brought us over to Europe for the first time and backlined us like absolute saints. Shout outs to our dear friends in Detroit, White Magician and Demon Bitch. They're the absolute best. They're like our dear, dear, dear friends. There's so many more. I could go on all day.
Hell yeah,
I guess off the top of my head, those are the three.
Hell yeah.
Oh, shout outs to Traveler and shout outs to Thunder for Toronto. They were played a couple of shows with them in 2022 in Europe, and we wouldn't have been able to do it without them. They're the loveliest guys, and we're very generous stuff. So yeah, shout out to them.
Definitely. Traveler been on the show before as well. Super rad dude.
Oh, yeah, I listened to that episode. Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah. So last question of the day for you is this. What's out there?
What's out there?
What's out there?
We're getting metaphysical, eh? We're getting like deep. What's out there is silence is always great for a podcast, eh? Like long stretches of silence. What is out there? Speaking from my experience and from where I'm standing right now in Ontario, what's out there is a vast expanse of nothingness if you stretch a little bit beyond the city, and peace. That's what I'll say. That's part of what our record. Let me tie it in, actually. Let me make this relevant. Let me tie it into Dark Sky Sanctuary. What's out there is peace if you want it. How about that, eh?
Fuck yeah, dude. Absolutely. That is exactly what's out there. The great expanse, the great wide open. Peace.
Yeah, the great wide open. Yeah, exactly. It's beyond the great divine, yeah.
Dude, like, I spend so much of my, like, free time, like, before bed, after I get done editing, and it's like a wind-down technique. It's like ASMR or something, where I will watch cabin making on, like, off-grid cabin stuff.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, abso-fucking-lutely.
And there was this.
If you think I haven't fallen asleep to like many a cabin building video in my day, you're out of your mind. Absolutely,
dude.
Hell yeah.
That's like, it's either that or like restoration videos.
Yeah,
somebody either restoring a guitar, an antique bread cutter, an oil can, a coffee grinder. It doesn't fucking matter.
What? Listen, we're speaking the same language right now. Short little story here. When we, post-COVID, when we played Muscle Rock and did our last little run of like Northern Europe, we started out in, our first show was in Oslo, Norway. And then we were playing Muscle Rock, and I had been pen pals with a friend of mine, Axel. I don't know if he's going to like me mention this, but whatever. It's a good story. So anyhow, we were going to get like a little Airbnb in central Sweden, somewhere in between Oslo and Småland, like the area of Sweden, like where Muscle Rock happens. And he messaged me and was like, "Hey, like, do you know where you're staying, like in between Oslo and Muscle Rock?" And we're like, we're just probably going to get an Airbnb. And Axel was kind enough to be like, screw that. Just like come stay with me. So we're like, all right. So it's in the middle of nowhere in like central Sweden, like absolute middle of nowhere farm town. And we get to his place, and him and his wife live in this like gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous old house. And we were walking around and we're like, holy shit, this place looks like it should be in a magazine. And a friend of theirs was like, it had been in magazines.
Wow.
And then Axel's wife is like, we have this little shop off like on the side of our property. I actually I make a living like restoring antiques like without damaging them for like homes, like for interior and exterior. I like sell products and whatever, and it like, oh, like I could show you guys if you don't think that's boring. And we're like, you grab the right group of people. This is the coolest fucking thing on planet Earth. This is like as cool for us as going to a museum or an art gallery or something like that. No, like I am massively into that kind of thing.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like I completely love that shit where it's like, you know, like the old like cast iron stuff, and you watch the person doing it, and they like where like all of the burrs are from the molds, and they just are like going over it with the file that it's so
buddy, like,
awesome. It's so therapeutic.
Breaking up a little bit. I'm sorry if I'm cutting you off. The only thing I got from that tour, you're on video, you can kind of see it. I got this like, instead of buying a mountain of records, I got a couple cheap Thor records when I was in Denmark. But instead of coming back with like a mountain of merch and records, I bought this like old throw rug from Sweden that was like hand woven in like 1890 by some like small town grandma that they got in an estate sale because like the family was just going to sell the place and get rid of everything in there. And I was like, hell yeah, like this is way cooler than any actual merch. Like,
fuck yeah.
This is more me than just acquiring a bunch of records that I could get for probably cheaper on the Canadian dollar at home. So
dig, totally. Dude, Jacob, thank you so fucking much. This has been a blast. We need to do this again. On our way out today.
Anytime. I feel like we didn't even scratch the surface.
No,
I think I had
a
couple too many beers and didn't even get into the good stuff.
So on our way out today from the new album, what do you want to play? What's your go-to track?
Easy. Give them the gears. I feel like we close every show with that song we have for the last 2 years probably, and we didn't do a video for it, and we didn't release it before like the album came out really. And I think a couple more people who like us should hear that track. If I'm going to be completely frank and honest, I think we should play Give 'Em the Gears.
Hell yeah, you heard him. This is Give 'Em the Gears. Yeah. For 45 years in keeping Louisville weird, Electric Ladyland has been there for all your eccentricities. While they do offer the best smoking supplies out on the market today, there's a whole lot more to check out. From ashtrays and blacklight posters, to records, incense and burners, and items to stock your metaphysical supply. They're open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Located at 2325 Bardstown Road in Louisville, Kentucky, and at electricladyland420.com. Roll out. Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttattoondpiercing@gmail.com and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing. Hey metalheads, after going to a rager, what's your ultimate go-to? Mine is totally pizza. So when Overload is playing, or I'm promoting the Metal Forge live showcases, or the big goddamn metal show, I go to Pizza DoNisi. Pizza DoNisi is gourmet artisan pizza from right here in Louisville, Kentucky. It features things like the pizza of the month, the sandwiches, and also vegetarian and vegan options, which is so totally fucking cool for all of it's awesome pizza. You definitely want to go. Hey, and also from time to time they do cannolis. Oh, so fucking good. You know what they said, man? Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Yeah, just like that in Godfather. They're located right next to the Mag Bar at 1396 South 2nd Street. So either stop in or call in at 502-213-0488. They're open till midnight. The witching hour.
Heineken? Fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
Hey metalheads, you all hear me talk about Mag Bar all the time. It is the home to the Metal Forge live showcases and is an integral stop in the ultimate underground metal tour schedule. They obviously feature live music, but the Mag Bar also has daily specials like Pint and Slice Night on Tuesdays with Pizza DoNisi. But they also do Bring Your Own Vinyl on Thursdays with DJ Kent Jackson, and Finer Things Sundays. Located right next to Pizza DoNisi at 1398 South 2nd Street, open 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. 7 days a week. Get your asses out to the Mag Bar. Rock out. In 2017, one man's vision and passion for all things metal started out as a record store in his house. Years later, the fight against a mainstream empire continues as Shadebeast. An independent metal collective and online store based in Athens, Georgia, is the world's premier heavy metal brand for music heads that value authenticity over the mainstream acceptance. Featuring original t-shirts from some of the best underground artists, as well as stickers, posters from the Shadebeast Presents concert series. Unique, one-of-a-kind collectibles and small curated selection of vinyl and cassettes from the masters old and new. Visit shadebeast.com and enter promo code SithLord for free domestic shipping on your first order, whether you're a new customer or returning. And be sure to join the Shadebeast social groups on Facebook and the interwebs to keep up with the new release announcements and talk all things metal and Star Wars. You'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and filth.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The Sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soul Grinder Zine! An independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now. Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code METALFORGE10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com.
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Sit back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code METALFORGE10 to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now.